Hello. Yes, this is Red Hook 3-1. That's right, and this is Woody Klose.
And Virginia.
And today we're transcribing directly, not from our cozy kitchen at Echo Valley Farm, but directly from the yacht club of the Hudson River State Hospital at Poughkeepsie. And the reason for it is because there's excitement and color and all sorts of fascinating things going on at the Poughkeepsie Regatta, right?
It's the annual regatta at which the intercollegiate races take place here at Poughkeepsie on the Hudson River.
That's right.
And
11 crews this year. Forgive me, dear, but I'm just so excited with all of this color and all of these young men. You should be more interested in the young men than I am.
Listen, Toots, I'm interested, first of all, in this wonderful yacht club living room. It has blue walls, girls, because I know that the women in this party of ours and not in the yacht club today, all of you from coast to coast and Vancouver to the Gulf, are going to like to know that this is a blue-walled living room with nice blue flowered chintz drapes at the windows. We have maple furniture, and really, it's kind of chilly here, and so we have a big log fire. They have a big log fire going in their nice, wonderful fieldstone fireplace, and around the top of the ceiling, like on a plate rail, are the trophy oars that have been presented to the Hudson River State Hospital Yacht Club by some of the victorious crews. There's the Navy oar up there, and the Princeton oar, and the Rutgers oar, and right across from us, right next door to this nice yacht club living room, we're looking at the Navy boathouse, which is just freshly painted in the Navy colors of gold and blue. And out there is the broad Hudson, and across from us are the Palisades of the Hudson, which stretch way up the river here.
I like the business if you're looking at the boathouse, dear, when you know very well that you're looking at all the men.
I'm not looking at the men. There are a lot of tall Princeton men outside waiting to get in, and I'm not looking at them. But you know, it was pretty funny, Woody. When we came down here a little while ago, and Commodore McGee of the Yacht Club met us very graciously, he said to me with an odd look on his face, "Just a minute, Mrs. Klose, you better not go in." And I said, "Why, Commodore? What's the matter?" And he said, "Well, when the crews are racing down here, it's pretty unusual for women to come in, and there's a young man who's just taken a shower, and he wants to get out and go over to the boathouse." So I sort of turned my head like Lot's wife. I turned and looked again, and there was the young man with a nice big towel wrapped around him, dashing like a mad thing to the Navy boathouse. And I really thought it was pretty funny. I was scared to come in here.
And isn't it beautiful down here, though, Virginia? A mile across the river from us, almost directly across, is the Columbia Boathouse, and above it on the rocks there is the big letter N. Painted right on the sheer, stark, living rock are letters all up and down on that west side of the Hudson River. Those are for the various colleges who are represented here at the race. There's N there, and down below there's a W and a C for Cornell and a T for Tech, MIT. There's another big W way down below.
For Wisconsin. Good old Wisconsin from Madison is here today. And California is here. And Washington is here.
That's right. And I think the exciting thing about this, Virginia, as far as we're concerned, is the fact that here, right on the river, right near our home, are gathered a group of people from all over the country. There are friends and relatives of all of our friends on the air, I think.
Well, how many? There are about 100,000 people lining the banks between Poughkeepsie and up here. This is 3 miles north of Poughkeepsie.
That's right. I didn't personally count the number, dear, but traditionally we have 100,000 people lining the banks on this side of the river, on the west side, and must be 10,000 people standing on the bridge down there near the finish line. Unfortunately, we aren't going to give you very much detail of the race because the races don't really start for a couple of hours yet, at 5:30 because of the winds and the tides.
That's why they're letting us come in here and clutter up their clubhouse, Woody, but I think it's a very gay and exciting thing, and I really have never seen one of these before, and I'll bet that it's going to be the most exciting thing I've ever seen. I didn't know how fascinating it was till we got here.
That's right. I wish I could get an invitation to dinner on one of those Navy boats.
Boy, well, one of our nice young blonde friends, Belinda Ward, who has a farm, whose father has a farm near us in Red Hook, is going to have dinner tonight on one of the Navy destroyers. Aren't there 6 Navy boats in the river here?
6 Navy boats, that's right.
And we have with us a very charming guest and an interesting man and a neighbor of ours, Mr. Peter Troy of Poughkeepsie in Barrytown, New York, who has been the chairman of the Poughkeepsie Regatta for the last 38 years and who, I believe, is witnessing his 50th race this year. Isn't that right, Mr. Troy?
True, yes.
Why don't you tell us something about the Poughkeepsie Regatta so our listeners will know a little more about it?
Well, it is a most interesting story, and really too long a story to recite here. But the first races started in 1896, and those were very interesting and unique times because we had no boathouses, there was no pampering of the crew, and they came along and put a big tent on the dock down below the Main Street dock of Poughkeepsie, and there they coach and rode from that point. From that time on, I've been a very enthusiastic person for the regatta.
Well, how did the races happen to get started here at Poughkeepsie?
Well, they were looking around for a straight 4-mile course.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, bear in mind, there were 5 crews at that time who were more or less in what they call the Board of Stewards. That took in Pennsylvania, Columbia, Cornell, Syracuse. I just don't recall
the Navy.
And the Navy.
And the Navy?
Not at that time.
Oh.
They came in later.
They got in.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Troy, I think that this race this year is going to be just about as exciting as any of the others, don't you, in your past 50 years?
About it. When you get 11 crews to get off on this river, we always figured that the river would take care of 10 crews nicely. That is, going through under the bridges, and that the spanning on the river would take care of them very nicely. Now you've got 11 crews, which...
Well, right here, based around the Hudson River State Hospital Yacht Club, we have Rutgers and Princeton crew and the Navy crew.
Yes.
We're right here next to the Navy boathouse, and the river looks beautiful today, the Hudson, and the crowds look very excited. And I think the coaches are pretty excited, too, don't you, Woody?
What a gang of huskies those guys are, too.
I should
Believe
say.
me. I wish I could get that size.
Well, I think it would be fun if we could speak to Commander Walsh, who's the coach of the Navy crew.
Yes, I think it would.
Right here, and I'm sure he will have something
Thank
very
you very
exciting
much,
to tell
Mr. Troy.
us. Thank you, Mr. Troy, very much.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is Buck Walsh, Commander Walsh, who's coach of the Navy crew and has been for a number of years, haven't you, sir?
That's right.
How many years?
Well, I've been actually coaching since 1925.
And you were on the crew before that as a midshipman.
That's right. That's right. I rode in 23. I graduated in 23. I rode that year in 1922.
Well, then you'd maybe be considered more familiar with this course than a lot of the other coaches and teams,
Well,
eh?
I think probably Peter Troy, his old man Poughkeepsie himself, he knows more about it than any of us. We were transients, as it were.
Oh, you're not a transient. Well, Commander Walsh, what would you think about your crew this year today? How do they measure up?
They're a fine bunch of boys.
They are.
What kind of a training routine do they go through in order to get ready for this race?
Well, it's a long, drawn-out thing. We start early in March, probably train longer in crew than any of the sport, I think. We start in March indoors, and we get them on the water later on, and then gradually build up stamina, and we hope speed. We don't always get it, but we
Yes.
Well, is there a new technique that you might be using this year or not?
I don't think there's much new in rowing. It's the same old thing. I think.
Same old thing, huh?
What does it take, really? Size, weight, and strength? Endurance?
Lots of desire to work, I think, is the most important thing.
These boys never dare break training, do they?
Well, if they do, after all, as everything in life, they must pay the fiddler. They do. And you see a chap occasionally break training, but invariably he put on a nice show for himself after he has broken training.
He
Yes.
does. Makes up, eh?
Well, thank you very much, Buck Walsh. It's very pleasant indeed to talk to you, and we want to talk to some of the other
Thank
coaches
you.
here, if
Thank you
you
very
don't mind.
much.
Let's talk now to Chuck Logg, shall we, who is the coach of the Rutgers team. He's right next door here, a big strapping man in a red jumper. Is that what you call it?
That's right.
Bright red. Is that the Rutgers color?
Rutgers Scarlet.
Rutgers Scarlet. Good enough. Tell us about your team, will you?
Well, we have 2 crews here, the varsity and freshman crews.
2 crews from Rutgers.
2 crews.
Is that usual or unusual?
That's usual.
It is.
Most of them have 3.
They do.
And we have the varsity and freshmen only. We left the junior varsity at home this time. Hope some year to bring them.
You do.
How long have you been rowing?
I started rowing with the old Hiram Connebear just before the war. The freshman had a unique experience of being with him 1 year before he died, and then 3 years with Leader,
I see.
who's recently coached at Yale
And how long have you been coach at Rutgers?
since 1937.
Have you been on this? You've been on the regatta here before then? Every time?
1941 we brought a crew here.
You did?
You don't bring a crew every year.
Well, we didn't row during the war.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
but that's the only
Yeah,
crew that
that's
you've
right.
had here.
And I didn't have the unique experience of rowing here.
You didn't.
I finished in 21, the year before Washington came.
What do you think about this course?
Well, this is a good course. It's a wide open span, and you have to know a little bit about currents and tides and one thing and another. Plenty of room for all the crews that are here. I think 29 crews altogether will be here.
29? Boy, that's a river full. Well, thank you very much, Chuck Logg of Rutgers University. You know, Woody, I was talking to Commodore McGee of the Yacht Club here a few minutes ago, and he was telling me about the Wisconsin crew. You know, they're billeted across the river, across the Hudson from the clubhouse here this year, and he was very unhappy because he said always before the Wisconsin crew had been billeted on this side, and there's a very rich old farmer up in Wisconsin who used to send enough cheese every year to feed all the crews around here. And Commodore McGee said he misses that Wisconsin cheese terribly.
I wonder what his name is.
I don't know, but he
What
must
kind
be
of
somewhere
cheese, do
out
you
there
think?
near Madison. Well, you know, Wisconsin, good old dairy cheese. I don't know.
Now, never mind, dear, about Wisconsin cheese. We make very good cheese here in Dutchess County ourselves.
All right, we don't make
And they
it.
make very good cheese in many other parts of the country, and you mustn't plug Wisconsin.
I'm not plugging Wisconsin. Commodore McGee lives right here, and he said that. And you know, Woody, another chap I was talking to a few minutes ago was the young coxswain, the cox of the Princeton crew.
Coxswain, we say.
Oh, pardon me, coxswain.
We
well,
old
they call
crew
him
members, dear.
Oh,
We all
pooh.
say coxswain.
Well, anyway, they call him the Cox, and his name is Tad Hull, and he's a very nice young man. He's a GI who fought all over Europe and came back to Princeton. He's a junior, finishing his junior year. And you know what he told me? He said that the University of Washington crew is the only crew in this race today that is undefeated and has been in any race this year.
I knew. They discovered a new kind of rowing out there some years ago, Virginia. I don't know what it is myself. I'm just a neophyte at this.
Gee,
Never
that's
saw
a
a race
word you
before.
keep throwing around this afternoon. What does it mean?
Well, I can't help it. The coaches do it themselves, dear.
Means
I
you're a
can't help
dope, huh? And just starting. Is
Well,
that
just
what it means?
an apprentice, really, at the
Oh.
whole business of crew racing.
Woody, you know who's just
I-
coming in the door of the clubhouse now? There's
Oh.
Dutch Shock over there. Woody, don't you think we could talk to him for a minute?
Well, certainly. Let's get him in. Come on in, Dutch Shock. You're the coach of the Princeton team. Let's talk to you.
How are
Hello.
your boys this year?
Well, I think we got two crews that should be contenders in both the races. We brought a freshman crew and a varsity crew.
Mm-hmm.
We broke up our JV this year, taking the four best men out of the junior varsity crew and working them in a four now in preparation for the Olympics.
Mr. Shock, let me ask you, how many crews and what are the names of the crews participating in this race today?
Well, I hope I can name them all. Sometimes it's hard to do that on the spur of the moment, but there are 11 crews participating. The Eastern crews, we have Navy, Cornell, Pennsylvania, MIT, Syracuse, Columbia, Princeton, Rutgers. I believe that's
That's eight.
that's all the Eastern crews, and then on top of that we have the University of Wisconsin from Madison, the University of Washington from Seattle, and the University of California from Berkeley.
Well, this is a coast-to-coast race, isn't it? Well,
certainly
it's
is.
a very exciting thing. Now, the race is going to start what time exactly?
The freshman race is to start at 5:30, the junior varsity race at 6, and the varsity race, the big baby of them all, starts at 6:45. It ought to all be over about before 7 o'clock, and
Eastern Daylight Time.
that's right.
And you
Yeah.
row what, 3 miles?
Freshman row 2 miles, the junior varsity 3 miles, and the varsity 3 miles.
What's the prize that the varsity gets?
Why, they're racing, of course, this is the National Intercollegiate Championships.
Yeah.
And they race for the Stewards Cup trophy. And there's a trophy for each one of those races, freshman, junior varsity, and varsity. The Board of Stewards of the Eastern Intercollegiate Association. That trophy has been in competition for a good many years.
Who's got the trophy at the present time? Not the Poughkeepsie trophy, but the regular intercollegiate trophy.
Why, Navy.
Navy
that
has
great
it.
Navy crew won last year, and they're going to be in there trying again this year.
Well, thank you very much, Dutch Shock, a coach of Princeton. And now I guess we're going to just sit down around here and be very anxious until the race goes on in a little while. And I'm sure we're going to have lots of anxious people waiting from here to California to see what the results of this race are going to be.
That's exactly right, Virginia, and I'm sorry we've got to get off the air right now. This is Woody Klose.
And Virginia?
We've been transcribing not from our nice, cozy kitchen at Echo Valley Farm, but from the Yacht Club at Poughkeepsie, New York, on the occasion of the Great Regatta. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.